Hi, this is Ingrid from Quiltessential Co, and we're going to be working on our May block of the month. But before we start that, I just want to say how excited we were and really thrilled that we had Deb Strain, who designs for Moda, and we had Barb from Coach House Designs in the store, and they did such a lovely presentations and were teaching classes. And this happens to be a block of the month that I designed a little while ago, and it's also with Deb Strain's fabric, Happiness Blooms, which we loved, and Cheryl quilted this, and Keat did the long arming on this, so I thought I would just share that because she was just in our store and we got to see her original artwork for that, so that was really cool. And now we're going to be working on our block of the month for May, and let's go cut it out. So we're cutting out our pieces. There's a very long A this time. Just cut it into strips. You could stack B and C and cut those also into strips. You could also stack your D and your E together and cut them into squares. And then you have F, and they're all cut into squares. And we're going to start getting our ruler out and doing some sewing. So again, we're working with our 2 peaks in 1 ruler, and I've told you which lines to use. And here's A. It's a long, long strip. And use the white strip line that I've told you to use, and you're going to be cutting across and going back and forth, and you're going to be cutting out 8 of these wonderful A shapes. When you're cutting your B and C, you want to make sure that they are folded wrong sides together. This is super important. So here's B, here's C, and we're now using the other side of our ruler, which is the skinny or the small end of our ruler. Use the different lines that I've told you to use. Straighten up one side, and then before you cut the angle, I like to, again, as I've said in my instructions, just leave a little piece of extra fabric on the side, cut up, and then you're also going to be turning around and cutting more, and you're going to be cutting sets of those. Before you move them, make sure you put your baseline on the bottom, put your diagonal on the side, and cut off that little corner piece. So you're going to do A, B, and you're also going to do some C's. So I have straightened this one already. So I'm just going to cut this so that you can see what I'm doing, because these are slightly different than what we've done earlier. So I'm going to cut one more A here too. That'll make it a lot more simpler to understand. So you will have 8 A's. At the moment I just cut 2 just so I can show you. Now we are going to be placing on the right side of our A, we're going to be putting a B onto 4 of those. And again, you always make sure that the flat is here, and as you sew down here you have the tiny little triangle. So on the right side we're going to be putting a B on 4 of these, and on 4 of the other A's we're going to be putting a C. And then when we cut, we first of all sew those, then when we sew the other side on the left, if this had a B on it, this one gets a C on it. And if this one had a C on it, this one gets a B on it. So in the end, once you've sewn them together and they're looking like this style, you will have 2 colors on opposite sides. And I always like to start, when I sew these, I always start, like I think I've told you this a lot of times, start on a little piece of fabric so it doesn't get chewed up, sew straight down, press away from A, and then when you add the other side, you are also going to be matching this up here, sew down here, and press away from A. When we clean these up and trim them up, I know this one has the same colors, but just so you get the idea of it, we are putting, and I've told you which measurement to put on, right on the point, and you're just going to trim the sides up a little bit to make them perfect. So you will end up with units, 4 of these and 4 of these, and then we'll go to our next step. So you're going to take your D and E pieces, and put them right sides together, and you've got two different choices. So you're going to draw a line across the back if you have just a regular ruler, and then you will be sewing on either side of that. If you have the 4 1/2 square triangle ruler, which we've used before, place that over here, blunt end on the corner, diagonal over here, mark along this side and in the slot, and then you will again sew on those lines, and you will have this. You're going to cut it in half on the diagonal, and you'll get 2 of these. If you have the 4 1/2 square triangle ruler, the number that I've told you to put on the stitch line, not on the fabric, on the stitch, so it's on the stitch, slide it over, trim off the bit. You can then trim off the little bunny ears from each side, and when you press it open, it will be the perfect size. You're going to press 2 this way and 2 this way. If you don't have that ruler, take it to the iron and press 2 one way, 2 the other way, and then you're going to have to line up your diagonals and trim it to the size that I've told you to trim it on all 4 sides. And the last thing you're going to do is put your block together. Now, to make it simpler, I actually sewed these 2 together and made a little grouping, and I sewed these 4 together. You don't have to, but that does make it a little simpler for you. If these are sewn together, you can then join this and that's your center row. And on this one, you join your F squares on the top and the bottom here, and press the way I've told you for your block, and you will have a lovely block like that. And it makes a beautiful quilt when you make multiples. So we're coming up for Mother's Day, and Deb Strain reminded me of something. Family matters. And of course, we're mothers. Some people have a mother, some people are mothers, but mothers are really important. And what I've discovered in my life is that bringing up my 3 kids, as hard as it was the best thing that I've ever done. And people often say, how do you fit so much into your life? How do you design as many things as you do? And Deb Strain said the exact same thing. You power through. And you learn to do that when you have kids, because they come first and you end up powering through. Even if you don't think you can, you usually do. And my mom was really important to me, and I just want you to know that she'd be super proud of me today, and I am really happy that I had her. So I hope you have a good Mother's Day. And if you found this video useful, please leave us a like and click subscribe for future content. And this has been Ingrid from Quiltessential Co. And thanks for sewing with me today, and we'll see you soon.